Good morning, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 475 South 17th Street here in St. Helens. We're located at the right side of the home. Looks like we've got a 3-inch cast iron clean out here as our point of access. I'm going to attempt to insert the camera and check the overall condition of the sanitary sewer line. The reason I say attempt is when I open the clean out up here, this little standpipe section here, this is just for the clean out. The actual pipe itself has about 3 inches of standing water in it. The pipe's completely full of water. When I flush the bathroom, which is through this window here, or flush the toilet, I can look at my head out the window and I can see water bubbling up through here when you do that. So the line is essentially in an active state of backing up to some extent. It's still allowing some water to get through. At the 20 feet here, we're still completely underwater. Here at 56 feet, the camera finally pops out of the water. I didn't run into an obstruction there. It looks like you've got 56 feet of sewer line, and this standing water looks like it's going back into the house as well. So there's probably some more repair to do from the clean out back towards the home. But you have 56 feet of sewer line here that has 3 inches of standing water. It does pop out here, and it's transitioned at some point over to Schedule 3034 PVC pipe. Do have some roots coming through this next transition to concrete. Yeah, more root intrusion there at about 61 feet and a very offset joint. And then right here at about 64, 65 feet, it appears we have reached the terminus for the line. I'm going to go ahead and locate this, make sure we're out in the street. And then I'm going to map out the entire sewer line from the main. Well, this concrete stub is in, part of it's okay. Actually, I think we may have some roots coming through here, but as much as the line is in terrible shape, needs to be completely replaced. So I'm going to map out the entire line from the street all the way back to the clean out. I had to move the camera around a little bit while while it was paused to do some locating. I wasn't able to locate it originally all the way out at 64 feet where the line terminates. So I pulled back here to 56 feet. The line actually looks like it's heading to the rear of the property. At this point, it's still on someone else's property, so I'm going to keep reeling back here until it comes through the fence line. But it's heading towards the rear right corner of the property. At this point here, we're still, it looks like beyond the fence line. Alright, I did locate the camera head this time here at 44 feet. It's just inside the fence line, only about 3 feet deep here. I have marked it with a white X. This is as far out as I'm able to locate after this point it goes through the fence. It looks like it goes fairly straight after this point, so it's for the most part going straight back, I think, into the neighbor that's kind of kitty-cornered to this property. Most likely, you have to check into it with the city, but it's likely either an easement or it could be a party line, so it's worth checking into that. And you might need to do some locates to find the rest of the line and how deep it is. I'm going to do markings about every 10 feet all the way back to the cleanout. And I am going to reverse direction and try and scope back towards the home. There's standing water coming from that direction. The cleanout sits about 4 feet out from the house. Hey, located here, we're kind of just behind the sheds. I have a white line drawn here. There's going to be an X at either end of the repair, or X and a T, depending on what I do, but there'll be white lines in between those 2 points, showing where the line goes. Only about 2 feet deep here. It's a very, very shallow line. At this point here, we're underneath the shed. I'm going to pull out here. There's probably about 10 or 15 feet of line that's kind of underneath some sheds and boards and stuff like that back here. I'm marking as best I can either where I can in between all that stuff. And we just popped out of the shed here. The line is only about 8 inches deep. Definitely worth contacting the city in this situation. I don't know the way that this line is configured, if it's even attainable to get proper slope and grade, but it may also be a time for it to go out to a main in the street if there is one. But either way, get a hold of the city and find out where responsibilities lie. Sometimes with easements and stuff, like if it were to go out to the street, the city does often take over responsibility at a certain point. I'm going to do a locate here just out from the clean out. Okay, I'm reversing direction and going back towards the home right now. And at this point, we're just inside the crawl space. So just inside the crawl space, I won't be able to locate this, but I'm about 7 feet back. Looks like in the crawl space somewhere, the pipe does looks like a 90 or 45 degree, and heads up towards the floor. There should be a basically vertical pipe right here. From this point inside this looks like it's in the crawl. Try and locate really quick. But from this spot right here out to the clean out needs to be repaired too. You have 3 inches of standing water back into the crawl. And yeah, this is in the crawl space. I'm picking the signal up within the house. So anyway, dig all the way back. You're going to have to go into the crawl at least a little bit. The line sits about roughly 3.5, 4 feet outside the foundation, so about 2 or 3 feet of pipe inside there needs to be corrected too. Anyway, it needs a brand spanking new sewer line, basically from the crawl space all the way out to the terminus. The entire line is shot. There's roots, and about 90% of the line has standing water in it. So I highly recommend a rescope after the repair is done to ensure it was done correctly. But this is the clean out. That's the backyard and the sheds and everything there. The line just runs straight out. You can see my white lines. It goes underneath that shed and then back towards the rear right corner of the property. Now, from about 45 feet out to 64 feet, there's roughly 20 feet of line there I'm not able to locate as it goes beyond the fence line from beyond 45 feet.